What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Classic Octane. I am Taylor. So it's been a little while since you guys have seen me. A couple of weeks ago, I had to make a hard decision of, do I continue to make videos or do I kind of put my head down for a little while, knock out a build or two to kind of make up for, obviously you guys are aware that when everything went on kind of lockdown, a lot of my builds that were scheduled for earlier this year got put on hold. When things started to open up a little bit more, I kind of got a flood of bikes to build, which is a great problem to have. But if I sit there and film everything on every bike, it was going to take too long. And to be completely honest with you, I had some ground to make up from a revenue standpoint. So I had to make that hard decision to go ahead and just knock out a bike without filming anything. But I didn't want to leave you guys out of the loop completely. So I wanted to make this overview video, show you the bike, show you what I did, what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. And then now, starting from today, we'll be back on a more normal schedule, and I'll kind of get more into that at the end of the video, but let's go ahead and show you the bike. So this is it, and I am not kidding you when I say that this is probably in my top 2 classic Honda builds that I've ever done. I am ecstatic with how this bike turned out, and I hope you guys will agree, but the color combo, everything is just, I'm really proud of it. Especially because of how this bike looked when it first got here. I'll throw up a before picture now. It was basically completely in pieces. The engine was out previously before the customer brought it to me, and he basically threw it in, put one bolt through, and actually trailered this bike all the way down to Texas from Pennsylvania. And he's on his way back down from Pennsylvania today, and he's going to be picking the bike up tomorrow. So this is the last chance I will get to kind of show you guys the build. So we'll just kind of start from the front, work our way back. I will go over everything I've done, and I will also try to include a link in the description to any of the parts and pieces that you guys might be interested in. That way, if you're looking to kind of duplicate part of this build on your own bike, it'll be a little bit easier for you to find those parts. So this bike has a bunch of elements of a couple of different styles of bikes. So it's got like a little bit of street tracker, a little bit of scrambler, a little bit of a brat style, and it kind of, most of my builds end up that way because I don't like to be, restricted on what I'm going to do to a bike so that it's exactly a cafe racer or exactly a tracker. I just want to build a bike that's cool, and I don't really care what the rules are. So the customer wanted a little bit of a off-road tire, but nothing that's quite as aggressive as like the Continental twin duros I have on my CB550. So we ran with these Shinko, I believe they're 712 is the model. Again, I'll throw a link in the description below, but it is a 3.5 by 19 front, 4.0 by 18 rear. And if you can look at the clearance with the front fender, it is the perfect tire size. It does not contact the fender, but it fills it out really nicely. And it still has that kind of aggressive look, but totally perfect street manners. They're not loud, they're not super rough, anything like that. So I think they're a really cool kind of vintage style dual sport tire, if you will. I'm definitely going to be using these on a future build for sure. Speaking of the front fender, that is just a stock front fender that I chopped down and body worked and painted to match the tank. The tank and fender are painted a Ford green. So the customer requested like a late 60s Mustang green. If you're familiar with a Bullet Mustang from that movie, it's basically the identical color to that. I like to paint all of my bikes with a kind of widely available automotive color. That way, should this bike ever get scratched in the future, it's going to be very easy to touch up. So the exact color of this tank, let me look at the label, is a Ford Deep Jewel Green Metallic. So that in the combination with this distressed brown seat, I think is just, I love it. It's a phenomenal color combination. Again, I hope you guys will agree. The whole braking system was completely gone through as well. Brand new caliper, brand new seal, brand new stainless steel brake line up to a more modern, kind of a little bit more efficient master cylinder. All of that works really well. Went through, painted the front wheels black, as you can see. Rebuilt the forks with vapor blasted lowers. Going up a little bit higher, we have aluminum MCO headlight mounts with little LED signals coming off the side. So some bikes in the past, I've run really small signals, and what I'm starting to lean towards more is maybe a little bit bigger signal, which you lose, you know, you could argue a little bit of an aesthetic by going that way, but they're just much safer because the whole point of a turn signal is for a car to be able to see if you're about to turn. And if your lights are too small, it makes the bike unsafe to ride. And I don't ever want to build a bike that somebody doesn't want to ride. So we went with those. I think they look pretty good with black. They kind of blend in nicely. OE headlight. Up here, we went with little mini Speedo that I always run. Kind of flush mounted, nice and low. Has the indicator lights built in. Everything on the handlebars is all brand new. So these handlebars are from MCO as well. They're actually the exact same handlebar that I have on my CB550. It's a nice upright seating position, which is very comfortable on these bikes. You could ride this bike for a couple of hours without any real issue. If your handlebars are super low, it can look really cool, but if you're gonna ride all afternoon, you can start to hurt your wrists a little bit. At least me as an old man, it starts to hurt my wrists if the handlebars are too low. So I think this is perfect. We have matching tough side grips. So this is the exact same distressed leather that's on the seat. Like I mentioned, brand new controls that connect to a brand new wiring harness. With all of my builds, I like to completely replace the entire wiring harness because most of it is, 50 years old. And for the cost of a new harness, it's worth doing. Anything else? We have these aluminum bar end mirrors that are really nice. I just found these pretty recently. They're inexpensive, but they're better quality than the ones I have on some of my other bikes. So I'll actually probably start to swap out to these. Again, the link will be in the description. Tank, of course, you can see all new hardware, brand new petcock. I think that covers most of the top. So let's work on the engine now. So the customer told me that this engine actually had been gone through before it got to me. So I don't know if that means a full rebuild or just a top end rebuild, but he said that the engine should be in good condition, and I have no reason to, say that that wasn't the case because it's got great compression, it runs great. All I did was, once it was out of the bike, cleaned it up, painted it, vapor blasted our side covers, went through new spark plugs, valve adjustment, just kind of maintenance stuff, but the motor itself internally was ready to go. I didn't really have to do anything to it. The exhaust, we are running one of my go-to setups. This is the Delcovic 4-into-1. It's a complete stainless exhaust that we did wrap with the titanium color wrap just to kind of, match that vintage off-road scrambler kind of vibe. I think it looks really good. Some people aren't a fan of exhaust wrap. I personally really like it, especially on this style. The carbs, I actually didn't go through the carbs because when he brought them to me, he said that he had them rebuilt previously. It's probably the only thing I would change on this bike, just because I would have liked to have vapor blasted these just so it kind of matches the nice clean satin finish of everything else on the bike. But, I can't vapor blast them unless they're completely disassembled, and you really only do that whenever you're doing a full rebuild. So they still match well. They're not heavily corroded or anything crazy, so I don't think it takes away from the build. It's just one of those little tweaks that I kind of would have liked to make, but I think it's fine. We did go ahead and pull them apart a little bit, clean out, make sure all the passages were clear, and then threw in 40s and 110s for the jets, which is what I run on every single 500 and 550 that I have pod filters and a 4-into-1 exhaust with, and I have really, really good luck with that. Running our little foam filters we always run. A little bit further back, we have the custom battery box, very similar to the ones I've built in the past. That houses our brand new Shore-Eye lithium-ion battery, modern voltage regulator rectifier, modern LED flasher relay. All that stuff is in there. Of course, the remaining part of that new wiring harness. Right above that is our tough side brat seat in the distressed brown, like I mentioned. I've used it 1,000 times. We have another tough side on that bike. We have another tough side on that bike. I have one on my KZ750. We have another one over there. You can say I'm a bit of a fanboy of the tough side seats. I just honestly haven't found anything that's similar quality. They are a little bit expensive, but I think you get what you pay for. We did keep the passenger foot pegs on this build because he wants to have that as an option. Brand new rear shocks. These are a little bit stiffer than these stock shocks, so if he does have a passenger, we're not gonna have to worry about, the tire getting into the frame hoop or anything like that. Ran our traditional frame hoop. You guys probably saw me make this frame hoop on one of the last videos. We went with a high mount center LED brake light. I like it because it's like a bullet style light. You guys are familiar with this. Same one I have on my KZ750, same one I have on the 7-day build. It's just a relatively inexpensive light that has a nice kind of vintage feel. On this style build, I think this light fits a little bit better than like an LED strip sectioned into the rear hoop like I have on that bike. That one's kind of a little bit more of a modern style build. This one I wanted to kind of look period correct, if that's even a thing, you know, but still modernized safety features of bright signals, bright brake light, you know, modern reliability, that kind of stuff. The muffler, I don't think I mentioned that with the exhaust, is the Cone Engineering 12-inch universal shorty muffler. Same one I build or I run on most of my builds. I'll show you guys what that sounds like here in just a minute. And then, oh, on the reliability front, we did throw in an electronic ignition as well. It's something I like to throw on a lot of my builds, just because these bikes respond quite well to a modern ignition. Cold start a little bit better. They also rev a little bit faster. I've just had good luck with them, so I like to run them on all the bikes I can. I think that's it. I think I've kind of covered everything. So you can see it's not night and day from any of the other bikes I've built, but it's just a little bit different style. I haven't done a kind of tracker off-roadish scrambler style 550 before. The kind of brushed metal 550 I built is pretty close to this, with just more of a street tire and a little bit different light setup, a little bit different exhaust setup. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you guys on a tripod. We'll cold start this thing, see how she runs, and we'll close out the video there. All right, let's cold start this thing, see how she does. Heat on, fuel on, choke on, ignition on. Not bad. I don't want to run it in here forever because I'm in the garage and I don't want to have to turn all my fans on and stuff, but I mean, for a cold start, this thing runs fantastic. Well, that's what I'm going to call it on this one, guys. I appreciate everybody being patient while I kind of put my head down and got to work. I hope you understand that I had to make that business decision, but we're back on making videos now. This week I'm going to be jumping back onto this project. We only have maybe a day or two of work left on that, and we'll be going back to the customer. Then I'll be jumping over to this bike as well. I think this is going to be a perfect candidate for me to finally do a how-to video on how to paint a gas tank. I really meant to do it on both of these and just got carried away and distracted. And this one is going to be black, which, if you don't know, the darker the paint color, the more imperfections show underneath. So the bodywork and stuff on this is going to have to be on point, otherwise you're going to be able to point out a flaw in a heartbeat. So this bike is going to be pretty similar to the rest of them, but I am going to at least show you guys the gas tank, and then we'll see how much more of the build we get into. This bike is also going to be running an M unit, and I haven't actually shown a full M unit wiring on a classic Honda before. I've only shown it on my Triumph Bobber. So I think that'll be interesting. We'll make sure to for sure do a video on how to upgrade your classic Honda to a Moto Gadget M unit setup. And then what are we doing? Oh, after that, guess what? We're gonna be building a bike that is not a classic Honda, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are cheering now. I already have the bike, bike lined up. We're in the design phase now. The customer, I went with him to actually buy the bike about a week or two ago. So it's a manufacturer that I've never had on the channel before, and it's going to be a bike that I'm very, very excited about. It's something I've wanted to build one for myself for a long time. So I can imagine that once I build it for him, I'm going to turn around and want to build another one for myself. And I think you guys are going to be really interested to see that. So we're back on normal schedule now. I'll try to put out as many videos as I possibly can. And I appreciate you guys being patient. And I'll see you soon.